Hello, how guys? Hello, hello. How guys doing? Hopefully, this gets a little piece of change of paste. History. Of if can you guys hear me? Good. Okay. Hello. Good. Okay. XD1212. Hello. Good. Okay. XD1212. Hello. All right. We're getting a little bit of Bible focus. Let's start with Sodom. I like reading the bubbles on the side first. So basically, this is an illustration of what happened. You have Lot, his wife, his daughters. Actually, his wife is right here. This is when sulfur rained down upon the people of Sodom and Gomorrah, when God told them He's going to destroy them. Um, but before all of that, we're going to read about that too. Abraham did told Jesus to please spare his family member, which is Lot. So he sent two angels, and they told him, "Get out of the city. You have to get out of the city." And they were when they were walking out, he was only able to take out his two daughters and um and his wife. That from lack of trying, he tried to get sons-in- the son-in-laws, but they wouldn't listen. But when they left, the angels told them, or God told them, do not look back, walk and never look back. Saying that's what you left. You don't need to cry about it. You don't need to think about it. You're leaving that place, a God forsaken place, because God gave him about 40, if I'm correct, 400 years. But he was sending people from God to those people in Sodom and Gomorrah to change their ways. They never changed for 100 years. That never changed. So, yeah, that's what happened. And everybody disappears. There's some archaeological findings where they say they found this of sulfur. Some around over there. I'm not that well versed, but the areas where they found it, but pretty sure you can find it if you Google it. So the Tales of Two Cities, John Martin's 1852 painting of the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah illustrated the annihilation of Sodom and Gomorrah after their inhabitants descended into sinful ways. See, they sin. Punished. It's not that God give them enough time to change. They didn't change. Okay, so a meeting with the three travelers would change Abraham's life when he discovered they were not mortal man, but God of two angels, but God and two angels. If I remember the Bible when I read it, it was telling the three persons were going to Abraham's tent. He didn't know about it. He was inside his tent and came out and saw these three beings coming towards his house or his tent. He knew one of them was God, but he didn't know who the other two fellows were. But they were angels sent with God. And an unlikely promise. One day, Abraham was visiting his tent when he noticed three men nearby. Three men nearby in Genesis 18:1-2, with traditional hospitalities. Abraham invited the mysterious visitors to stay and eat. Well, while the meal was being prepared, they suddenly asked, "Where is your wife, Sarah?" If Abraham was surprised, just knew her name. He didn't show it, but simply pointed to the tent. It was then that one of them now revealed as God himself promised that Sarah would have a son, Genesis 18:10, reaffirming his earlier covenant. Page 51. Sarah, listening from inside the tent, laughed out loud. After all, they were both very old now, but God said, "Is anything too hard for the Lord?" 18:14, promising that within a year, Sarah would have a son. When God told Abraham about the judgment coming on the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, Abraham pleaded for mercy. However, a visit by an angel revealed that judgment was inevitable. Although Abraham's nephew Lot escaped, Lot's wife's hesitation was to cost her dearly. After Abraham and his wife Sarah were visited by God and two angels, Sarah was given the prophecy that she would bear Abraham a child within a year. God and his angels prepared to leave. God spoke to Abraham, telling him that the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, where Abraham's nephew Lot lived, were sinful. that the news had reached heaven itself, and that the cities would be destroyed. Bargaining with God, mixing faith with the custom of bartering, Abraham appealed to God's justice. Surely God would not destroy the whole city, but righteous people and sinners together. What if there were 50 righteous people in Sodom? Surely then God would prepare the city. God agreed, saying, if I find 50 righteous people in the city of Sodom, I will spare the whole place for their sake. Genesis 18:26. However, Abraham was not satisfied with this, asking, what if there were not 50 but 45 righteous people? What would God do then? He kept pressing his point and argued for 45, 40, 30, 20, then 10 people, and God agreed with him at each stage. Finally telling Abraham that if just 10 righteous people could be found in Sodom, his judgment will be withheld. Mixed reception. God sent two angels to Sodom, where they found Lot, Abraham's nephew, sitting at the gate of the city. In a show of hospitality, he insisted that the strangers stay in his home for their night. The angels agreed, but after supper and they were about to retire for a night, men from across the city, young and old, surrounded the house, demanding that Lot bring his guests out so that they could abuse the newcomers. Lot was horrified and protested at their vile behavior, and the men shouted and threatened Lot. He was suddenly pulled inside by the angels, who blinded those outside. The angels told Lot, gather his family quickly and get them out of Sodom, explaining that God was about to destroy the city. But Lot's sons in law thought he was joking and would not leave. With the dawn fast approaching, the angel said to Lot, hurry, take your wife and your two daughters who are here, or you will be swept away when the city is punished. 1915. Lot still hesitated so the visitors grabbed hold of him. His wife and his two daughters rushed them out of the city, urging them to keep running until they reach the mountains, not to look back. Lot begged the angels to let him go to nearby Seir, and they agreed that this small town could be spared. Oh, I read this. They're not saying anything about his wife or that I just. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about his wife that she looked back. Maybe they have it here. City, hurry, take your wife. The two daughters will step away. The city punishment. Lot still hesitated till his visitors grab hold of him and his wife and two daughters and rush them out of the city, urging them to keep running until they reach them. Okay, a disastrous ending. At Sirens, burning sulfur began to fall on Sodom and Gomorrah, destroying all the inhabitants of the cities, the surrounding regions, and also all the plants growing in the land. And then personal tragedy struck. For Lot, his wife failed to follow the angel's instructions, but looked back at Sodom and Gomorrah and was turned into a pillar of salt. Razed to the ground. The following morning, Abraham returned to the place where he had walked with God and had pleaded for mercy for the righteous of the Sodom and Gomorrah. When he looked toward the two cities, all that he saw was a dent, a dense smoke resembling the smoke from a furnace rising up into the sky. Lot had been saved, and Abraham knew that God's judgment had been fulfilled. Yeah, that happens when people go into sinful ways through a lot of times, even coding that coding code that even the heavens heard about their wrongdoings and unrighteous ways. Sodom and Gomorrah. That's why the city had to be destroyed. Proverbial symbol city. Proverbial cities of sin after the dramatic demonstration of God's judgment on Sodom and Gomorrah. The number of these cities became by word for gross wickedness, particularly of sexual kind, and a dramatic warning of God's judgment. The book of Revelation describes Babylon destruction at the end of time. Note that the smoke from her goes up forever and ever. Revelation 19:3, which is reference to the smoke that rose up from Sodom and Gomorrah that would never be forgotten. So this is a depiction right here showing showing two angels, the two daughters, Lot, his wife that looked back and got turned to a pillar of salt, and the town getting burned. You can see the flames all go up the skies and the smoke. Lot wives look back. Lot and his family depicted in this 13th century stained glass panel are urged on by two angels to flee from Sodom while the city burned behind them. Lot's wife is unable to resist looking back and becoming a pillar of salt. Judgment in the Bible. This is one of many stories about God's judgment. It features the precise timing of the natural events, an earthquake. The region around Sodom and Gomorrah was rich in bitumen, sulfur, and petroleum, so the ingredients for destruction on a massive scale was already there. Earthquakes are common in this area and could have set off a chain reaction resulting in an explosion in belly burning sulfur, which is described as brimstone and fire in older translations. Whenever the Bible speaks of judgment, however, it also speaks of God's provision to escape through the penance and faith. The people of Sodom and Gomorrah were not prepared to change and so reaped the inevitable consequences of their behavior. Jesus later used the fate of Lot's wife as a warning not to look back, but to be ready for Judgment Day. Luke 17:32. After, so this is what a lot of people find it hard to believe what happened afterward. When Lot came out of the city with his two daughters. So me reading the Bible, what I understood, basically they got into a cave. The two daughters, both of their husbands, they doesn't say, I think husbands, because Lot tried to get both of his son-in-laws out of there. They wouldn't listen to them, so they got unalive. They got cooked. So the two daughters didn't have a husband. They couldn't reprocreate. But if you think about it, they came from a city and town where they were rampaging and sexual acts, sexual kinds, a bunch of sinful acts. The most of the younger generation possibly could have become corrupted. Um, And we can see it now in today's in age. When younger kids are easily influenced by their surroundings, especially if there's a lot of bad things. People are attracted more to those bad things than good things. Um, and if they were doing a lot of open sexual desires and stuff like that, I would assume that they had those types of beliefs and systems to do things bad. I'm not saying that it's okay. I'm just saying it was part where they were living and how everywhere else lived. I would say that a lot was a righteous people, righteous person, because the angels did save them, and because it was part of family of Abraham nephew. So we're gonna get into that right here. Lot's daughter, concerned that they would never find husbands and would remain childless. Eldest. The daughters of Lot. Lot was afraid to stay in Seor, so he moved into the mountains, living with him in a cave. Lot's two daughters worried they would never have children, so they got Lot drunk and on a consecutive night went to bed with him without his even knowing it. Both became pregnant by their father. The elder daughter's son, Moab, became the ancestor of the Moabites. Keep that in mind, Moabites. Later on, the Israelites, they go into fighting with the Moabites and the Ammonites. I think the Ammonites, I don't want to speak about it, but I may be wrong about that. But I think they were the ones that at the end became the ones that carry the big chest and the first not the church, the first tent built for Yahweh. But I think I'm wrong on that. The Moab became the ancestor of the Moabites. The younger daughter's son, Ben Ami, became the ancestor of the Ammonites. Ammonites. So they had two boys. So you know how boys are; they like to be independent. So they didn't stay in the cave for long. So they had to look for independency. That's how I think they got them. They didn't stay in one area. They move around. So that's Sodom and Gomorrah. This is the book that I'm reading. Illustration, Bible story by story. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know if you guys want to read the next one. And I'll come back tomorrow and do the next one too. Thing about this book that I like, it gives you the reference for the book where you can look at the Bible. If you got I'm not gonna lie, I did not read the whole Bible. I listened to it through YouTube for free, and some of the stuff that I'm reading, going back over this, it makes sense in my head. It brings back memory of what I read. As well, I am reading it too, so I'm reading the New Testament. I think I'm on the fourth book now, um, and I am reading that one. So just me that I really hope that this helps somebody understand, um, or get at least a taste of it, and they can delve into it and try to figure it out themselves. Um, I hope everybody has some kind of revelation in their life that make them go back to God and read the Bible. Um, read the Bible, then choose where you want to go, whether it be a um, Catholic, Orthodox, um, but pick a choose or some for Christianity. Um, I personally, it has helped me in my life to this point. I thank God that He grow. I was looking for Him for a while, and He was always there, and I was blinded by not looking at the signs. And there was this epic time, epic moment that everything just came, everything just was put together, and I would say like a miracle way or a blessed day, blessed moment, because people that I didn't knew talked to me about God. books that I read in the week regarding um what I do as a work at my job, spoke about God, and then the same person that I talked to about God also mentioned to me about this meditation um called I Am, which I didn't know at the time was about God too. And there's science in the radio, and people be nice to me. Like it's like I've been missing a lot, and I don't want people to miss what I missed for so many. The glory of God, the Holy Spirit, Jesus Christ, and I hope you guys enjoy this. I know my reading it's a little bit slow, and I don't read like a third grader, but I'm doing this out of my heart. I don't want people to know that they're not alone. If you feel like if you feel you're lost in your take matters into your hands. No one will save you except for God, but you have to look for Him because He's always there. But sometimes we turn our backs on Him because we're humans. All right, well, see you next time. Sorry to end it in a bad person.